Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the John Guinn Travel Show on ukhealthradio.com. This week I'll be sharing travel news and giving you some travel tips as well. And the first bit of travel news is quite topical. It's about Donald Trump. I just wanted to join in with all the rest of the media outlets. And Trump hotels have agreed to pay a $50,000 penalty and to improve its data security protocols after 2 serious data breaches. New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman said that a fine was imposed because Trump Hotel Collection left it nearly 4 months before notifying the affected card users. The breaches affected personal data, including more than 70,000 credit card numbers. Schneiderman said, "It is vital in this digital age that companies take all precautions to ensure that consumer information is protected, and that if a data breach occurs, it is reported promptly to our office in accordance with the state law. Consumers' personal information is all too often exposed to wrongdoers with ill intent. We will continue working to help protect hard-working New Yorkers from all forms of identity theft." Investigators found that the hotel chain was the common point of purchase for affected cards after a malware attack on its payment processing system in 2014. The second breach occurred earlier this year at several Trump properties in the USA. The settlement requires measures such as conducting annual employee training in data protection, regular software security testing, and to ensure contracted service providers implement and maintain necessary safeguards. When I was a travel agent, as I always seem to say on these shows at the minute, I had to go through no end of precautions and tests and proofs to have a credit card machine, so I'm surprised that hotel chains can sometimes fall a little bit short on this sort of thing. If you've ever been affected by a security breach with your credit card number because of a supplier, such as a hotel, what happened to you? How was it dealt with? Please share your experience at facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. Sticking with payment problems at the moment, travel website Hotwire is warning of a scam currently doing the rounds at companies that offer employee discounts for holiday packages. This is mainly companies in the USA, but you never know, it could come over here. Companies have reported receiving faxes sent from the HR department to all employees, and it displays an old Hotwire corporate logo. The scam directs customers to call a number listed on the fax to book travel. The Hotwire company said in a statement, "The phone numbers provided are part of a scam and are in no way associated with Hotwire. If you have communicated with individuals at phone numbers provided on the faxes before, we encourage you to cease further communications." The company then went on to say that Hotwire does not engage in any form of telemarketing or send promotional materials by fax. Something you should be aware of whenever somebody faxes or communicates to you, is it the right company? If you're ever in doubt, put it to your HR department or whoever looks after your travel, or if you're a member of the public and it happens to you, just check out the website and see if it's all legitimate before you hand over any details. You may or may not have heard this story in the week, but a French hitchhiker in New Zealand lost his temper slightly after not getting a hitch ride for over 4 days. The 27-year-old French tourist allegedly went crazy in a small New Zealand fishing village after failing to get the lift after trying for 4 days, which was reported in the British newspaper The Guardian. The traveller is accused of wrecking road signs and hurling abuse at passing drivers. According to police, he had been hitchhiking his way around the country for some time before he was left without a ride in Punanganaki. I'll bet you that's wrong. And this small town is home to just 70 year-round residents. A local who called the police told the newspaper that the man threw an absolute hissy fit before trading barbs with an elderly fisherman. He said, "He was a spoilt millennial and he created a hell of a din, but all that time he was standing in the wrong place to hitchhike, a corner with poor visibility and nowhere for the cars to easily pull over." The Guardians reported that the tourist is currently on bail, having been charged with willful damage and has had his passport confiscated. Have you ever hitchhiked around a country? I haven't. I've only ever hitchhiked once in my life, and my wife gave me a right telling off when I got home. But what about you? When you hitchhiked, how did it go? Did you find it easy to get a lift? Was you ever worried about hitching a lift? If you feel up to it, I would love it if you could share your story with us about how you hitched for a holiday. Just let me know by communicating to me at facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. You're listening to The Travel Show with John Guinn on ukhealthradio.com. I'll be interested to know if you think I sound slightly different on this week's show. There's been two changes. One, I've moved my studio around so the microphone's in a different place. But the biggest news, or the biggest change, is this is the first show in over 4 years I've been wearing glasses to make the recording. And talking about 4 years, this is actually the third anniversary show of my travel show on UK Health Radio. So that's show 156, which I believe means 3 years, but if I'm wrong, I'm sure somebody will tell me. Seems an awful long time ago when I started, but say it's been going 4 years. It's a syndicate show, 3 years on this particular channel. And it's still going and people are still listening, which is nice. And hopefully there'll be another 3 years or so to go as well. Later on in the show, I'm going to be giving some tips for solo travellers and talking about family holidays and how, if it didn't go right for your family holiday this year, how you can put things right for your next trip, maybe at Christmas. There'll be some tips coming up there too. But first, a bit more about the news, and this time it's airport security. And the latest suggestion for improving security at airports actually looks into the past. Speaking at a panel session at this year's World Route Strategy Summit in China, Malaysia Airlines Chief Executive Peter Bellows said that he observed the technique of banning people who are not ticketed to travel from airports in Northern Ireland in the last century, when terrorism was a major problem. He believes that only allowing those ticketed to fly and also making car parks 400 metres away from the terminal should be introduced as a solution for today's terrorist attacks. As somebody who visits the airport an awful lot, it'd be great if only the people who are flying were in my way instead of their families as well, giving them their sobbing goodbyes. But I'm sure some people will be unhappy with this idea. Anyway, Bellows said, most of the problems in the last couple of years have been landside. They haven't been airside. Growing up within Ireland, you needed a ticket just to get to the airport. Maybe the trend we are seeing going forward is if you haven't got a ticket, then you can't get into the terminal. Maybe people saying bye-bye have no business hanging around the terminal, and maybe it'll bring the cost down for the airports if it brought down the size of the terminal building. I can think of at least one set of people who'd be upset with that, and that'd be all the shops. But anyway, IATA Regional Director, Airport Passenger Cargo and Security Asian Pacific Regional Director Vindup Goel argued one way this could be achieved is by a total rethink about what is required in the modern world. He said, we need to be smarter about security. I think we would all agree that some of the checkpoints we go through in airports have not changed in 30 or 40 years, where some of the techniques of a terrorist attack have. We have to avoid this whole notion of adding in roadblocks or checkpoints providing the solution. We need intelligent information rather than treating everybody like they are bad people. Meanwhile, airlines have said about how the recent terrorist attacks in Europe have impacted on them, and it had led to varied reactions across key markets. One airline, Finnair, has seen a reduction in both business and group travels, although overall growth remains strong. So what do you think about banning people from visiting the airport if they have no business to be there? Good idea, bad idea? Do you work at a shop at an airport and you think it's probably going to be a bad idea because there's going to be less staff needed? Let me know what you think. Oh, the 400 metres away for the drop-off isn't going to go down too well either. I think that's roughly what it is now for Luton Airport, and nobody's happy with that. So if you go to Gatwick or Heathrow and you have to park even further away, would that really get on your nerves? Please share your thoughts. Facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. I've just started a university course. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of hard work. But one of the things I found on one of the induction lessons in a room was nobody in the room was born when I got my last academic qualification in 1992, which made me feel really old. And I've long given up any hope or dream of being the youngest to do anything now, at the ripe old age of 49. So this recent story from EasyJet has made me feel even more old. Kate McWilliams holds the title for the youngest captain at just 26 years old. Kate is an EasyJet pilot based at Gatwick, where EasyJet have over 60 aircraft and 106 routes. Her love for aviation began when she was just 4 years old, when she was taken to her first air show by her godfather. She did plan on joining the RAF, but when there was no recruitment opportunities when she left school, she joined the CTC on her 19th birthday and began her career in commercial aviation. She joined EasyJet in May 2011 as a first officer and began her command course in April this year, and recently passed to take up the rank of captain. Apparently only 5% of commercial pilots are female, and last year EasyJet announced an initiative to change this by doubling the proportion of female new entrants to 12% over 2 years. This was implemented to encourage the development of female pilots at all ranks and positions within the airline, and hopefully will widen the pipeline of women who enter the pilot community. EasyJet hopes that Kate's success and fulfilment of her dream will inspire other women to consider a career as a pilot. As part of the recruitment process you may or may not have seen from EasyJet a few months ago, EasyJet has opened 450 recruitment opportunities for new pilot positions, as well as 170 career development opportunities for existing EasyJet pilots. And EasyJet hopes that young women will consider following Kate's footsteps and applying to start a pilot career with EasyJet. Kate McWilliams said, "I joined the Air Cadets when I was 13, where I got plenty of flying experience. At that point I couldn't imagine a career in commercial aviation, as I didn't know any commercial pilots who I could ask for advice. I never thought there would be an option available to me. I would strongly urge females interested in aviation to think about pursuing a career as a pilot, and any existing pilots to push themselves to become a captain." She then went on to say that EasyJet are a great airline to fly for, and they are passionate about helping people to achieve their dreams. As I said, it's too late for me to be the youngest anything, but living at basically the end of Cranfield Airport runway, flying lessons is high up on my list, but it's probably too late to become a commercial pilot. But what about you? Are you somebody who's taken part in a commercial pilot training course? It can be very expensive, and I'm interested to know how you're getting on. Let me know, facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show.
What about my phone call? I want to call my family.
Too late now.
Please, please.